Welcome to Fire and Smoke. My name is Amin Sheikh, and today we're going to be discussing all things upgrade on the Oklahoma Joe backyard smoker. What is an Oklahoma Joe backyard offset smoker? So an Oklahoma Joe backyard offset smoker is simply a very small version of what all the big American pitmasters use. It's basically a drum with a firebox in the end. You put your fire in one side, cook your meat in the other, airflow comes out through the stack, and in essence, that's what it is. Now, the Oklahoma Joe backyard offset smoker beats all of your supermarket smokers for the simple reason that this is made from 1.8 to 2mm thick steel, and it's fully welded construction with a couple of bolt-on assemblies when you guys receive this. I personally got my Oklahoma Joe backyard offset smoker for what I would consider to be an absolute steal. When I got this backyard smoker, it did not look like this. In actual fact, it looked like this. It was all rusty. As I said before, it had been left to rot and nobody took care of it. So what we did is we borrowed an angle grinder and some grinding pads from our friend. We ground it the entire outside down, got all of that rust off there. As you can see, we've done an okay job. We then took some extremely high heat paint, black of course, covered the entire outside in this, and it looks a lot better than what it was when we actually got it. Finally, all we did is we completely covered it in canola oil, and it looks really nice, really shiny and really new. We then lit a fire in there and it did its thing and it started to darken itself back down straight away. It then sat in this spot for the next couple of years. Let's have a look at the outside of the smoker and then we'll start to review the upgrades that we've actually got. So the Oklahoma Joe comes with one gauge. What I decided to do first off was swap both of these gauges out for Pro Smoke barbecue gauges here in the UK. Everything's in Fahrenheit and you can also have them in Celsius. They work perfectly good for me. Now the Oklahoma Joe does have a slight issue in the fact that the grate line is on the line of the smoker that you can see there, but the gauges are a lot further up. The difference in temperature between the grate level and the gauge level is about 50 Fahrenheit. No matter what you're doing, on the right hand side it can go as far up as 75, on the left hand side 50 is pretty much where you're at. So for me, having two of these is pretty essential because it means at a quick glance and at a look, I can see what's going on inside my smoker without actually opening the door. Another upgrade that we have put on the Oklahoma Joe smoker is the stack extension. Now the stack extension is pretty much necessary on the basis that the Oklahoma Joe offset smoker comes with what can really only be described as a baby ittle bitty stack. What we've done is we've jumped onto Amazon and we've got ourselves a pipe extender. So a pipe extender basically takes one piece of metal and allows it to fit to another piece of metal. That's it. Pipe extender on Amazon probably costs around £15. Nothing major, nothing too expensive. The actual bit of pipe that's on top of that, we went to a car exhaust company. We just asked them if they had any scraps lying around, any offcuts they were using for exhaust systems, and lo and behold, we were given a 500mm cut of 3mm thick steel at 100mm in diameter for absolutely nothing. So what we did is we got that, we riveted it in place, we put it on top of it, and that upgrade is as easy as the upgrades come. So that is it for the outside of the smoker. All we've done is two gauges and the extension to the stack, which will just help it run a little bit better. Let's have a quick look inside the smoker to see what upgrades we've done in there. As you can see, it's a little bit dirty. We did do a couple of briskets on this just the other day there and it's not really been properly cleaned down. But let's look at the upgrades inside. The first upgrade that we've done inside the smoker is the 90-degree U-bend, which effectively takes the draw from a high level position down to grate level. Now if we remove this, what you can see is how it comes as standard. All of your heat is going to come out of this section here. It's going to go straight up, hit the top of your tank, run all the way across, and then it's going to pop out the top section. So what we do is with this stack that basically just fits right on top of that there, as you've seen how easy that was, it effectively means that the air has to travel up the way, along and back down, and then back out the stack. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring the air collection a lot further lower in grate level so that all the smoke and all of that heat hits all of the meat that you've got on there. This is quite similar to a lot of the traditional ones that have got stack collectors, but again, this is an entry level garden backyard smoker, so it doesn't come with that as standard. So we went onto Amazon, got a 90-degree U-bend. I think it cost about £11. As you've seen there, it fits straight on, it's not hard at all, and it makes a massive difference to the overall draw of the backyard smoker. Now, not everybody likes to do this mod here because as you can clearly see, you're going to lose about 200mm worth of cooking space, but in my opinion, it's pretty much essential. On the right hand side, what you'll see there is an oven tray that's been stole from the kitchen and brought out here. This is a second oven tray, again, still from the kitchen and brought out here. The first oven tray I like to use as a water pan. I feel a water pan on these smokers is absolutely essential. It's going to be there, it's going to help bring the temperatures back down, it's going to keep the temperature at a more steady pace, it's going to keep some moisture in the air. There really isn't a drawback of having a water tray on a smoker that's really this small. We've got a tray in there, and that is just an oven tray that we use as a grease catcher, mainly because we use this one for a lot of briskets. With a lot of briskets, you're going to get a lot of grease. Because this is an extremely old Oklahoma Joe, there is no grease valve on it. So all the grease will just sit in the bottom of the tank, and it's down to us to clean that out. Another little upgrade that I use and I go on about in a lot of my videos is these. Now these are just oven thermometers. Now they're not the most accurate things in the entire world, but what it does do is it means at a glance, as soon as I open my smoker, I can see roughly or exactly where we're actually at in terms of heat. Now the benefit I've got is I've also got a meter probe that goes into all of my meat. So as soon as I've got my meter probe in there, I can tell the ambient temperatures pretty much straight away. When I open up the pit, and I look at my meter probe on my mobile phone, and then I check these gauges, they're generally there within about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're not that far out, and they are pretty good. So it really just means that when I'm cooking in a bit of a rush and I don't really know what's going on with my temperatures, if I've not got the meter probe in there, or the meter probe run out of battery, or whatever happens to it, I can quickly look and I can see them. Now generally what I would do is I set one about there, just to see how much heat's actually coming out of that firebox, and alternatively I set the other one about there, and that just gives me an idea of how hot it is just as the air is being extracted up and out the stack. So that's it for the inside of the main smoker itself. Nothing too major, nothing too crazy, a couple of cheap things you can grab from inside your kitchen that most likely you're probably going to already have. So let's have a look at the firebox. The firebox on these, as I said, is pretty small. It's all made out of 2mm thick steel as well. Your fire's in here, it's all going to plume through there, the heat's going to go through, back up and then back out. Now for the firebox, what we've done is we've had massive issues with heat loss. So the heat loss on these, basically because they come as 2mm steel, you're going to light your fire in there, all that heat's going to penetrate right down through the bottom, there's nothing down there cooking, you're just losing heat, you're losing wood and you're losing coal. So what we did is we bought some fire bricks. Now these are the fire bricks that you'll see on pretty much every log burner throughout the world. We got them off from Amazon, but there's 8 fire bricks in there in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along the back end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the front end, but those are only half bricks. So all we did was we bought them off of Amazon, got them in here, and we've literally just sat these in place. As you can see, they pop out quite easy. They are about 25mm thick. This one's a little bit damp because it's been a little bit wet out here, but that just goes in there. And then when you have a fire in here, it basically means that fire cannot penetrate through the bottom, and all of that heat has to be pushed up. Because you're going to have your lid closed during that process, it's all going to hit here, it's all going to shoot through your main chamber, and again it's going to come out of that stack. Fire bricks in total probably costs us about £60. It's a very efficient, very valued mod, and this is just how we've got it set up on the inside. So we have our fire bricks lining the fill of the bottom of the chamber. Nothing on the top of the chamber on the inside, as you can see, because it just became a little bit more complicated. As well as the fire bricks, what I like to do is just use a mesh grate that I've got from one of my previous maybe 10-15 barbecues I've bought throughout time. I light my fire on there, put all my coals on there, and what it means is no matter what, when this door's open or closed, now this ensures there's enough draw coming through underneath the wood and underneath the coal so the fire never goes out. So you're always going to have your coal bed on there, you're always going to have airflow on there, you're always going to have heat retention with that, and that is a really good modification. So in total, we have done several mods. You've got the chimney stack, you've got the grease tray, you've got the 90-degree U-bend, you've got your water tray, you've got your oven thermostats, and you've also got your lined firebox. Now, I am not saying all of these mods are 100% necessary. I'm not saying they're all 100% correct. All I'm doing is showing you what I've got on my Oklahoma Joe that I feel makes it better for me. All of these mods combined mean that I can create as much heat and as much airflow and as much draw as I possibly can, and that is the major issue with these backyard smokers. Now, if you can get the backyard smoker to work for you and allow you to hone your craft and allow you to become better at barbecue, if you ever decide to upgrade from one of these units to a bigger American style offset smoker, then you're going to have no problem cooking on them whatsoever. These ones, you're going to have a split wood in there every 15-20 minutes throughout your entire cook. And yes, that does mean if you're doing a 12-hour cook, guys, you're going to be out in the garden every 15-20 minutes just to make sure there's enough wood and enough coal in there to keep the heat going, to keep the temperature steady, to cook your brisket as low and slow as you really want to do it. As you can also see, this Joe really needs a little bit of TLC. I've had it a while now. In fact, I've had it about 3 years and it's been used all of the time. It's pretty much been used consistently and steadily until my new 130-gallon pit arrived, and then this one really just gets used for those shorter cooks, those cooks where I don't want to be putting in as much food, those cooks where I don't want to be using as much wood. So this, in my opinion, is quite an essential bit of my backyard cooker selection, mainly because it just doesn't cost that much money to run something this small versus how much money it really costs to run one of these, which is a lot of money. That's it for this one. I really hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope there's a lot of tricks and tips and upgrades in that video that you can use on your backyard smokers. Now, I don't recommend you do all of these at the exact same time. These are just the upgrades that I've put on my smoker through time. It makes it perfect for me. And as I said at the start of the video, the main aim of the game here with the cheap backyard offset smoker is to create as much draw as you possibly can and make the heat as efficient as possible. If you want to see more content like this, smash that thumbs up button, leave any comments you might have in the comment section below, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya!